Okay, this is day 122, part 4. So before I get to the ORIG that is kind of making the rounds, I just wanted to say that Task Force and I are both walking the streets here in Bethesda, Maryland. And the reason is that really Rod Rosenstein kind of put out the call, and we considered it almost a citizen's call to protect our country. We are going street to street. We're going to start in Bethesda, his hometown. We're going to see if there's any Russians still buying ads. If there's any Russians still buying ads for Trump, or not my president ads, because when you put a big X or something in America, that means you don't want that candidate. I don't think the Russians know that yet. And the Russians don't know that if you place those ads after the election, it's too late. So anyway, we're walking. If we see a Russian, we're going to let them know, don't buy any more of those ads. It's not going to help. Anyway, ORIG, two schools of thought. One is backup files, okay, and that's a good idea. Maybe that something was erased and you could find some artifact, that's a good idea. The other one is really this offshore rig. And if you follow this series, you know that oil and gas and mineral, you have to have those protection services, the paramilitary type police, and that brings all the rat lines, all the DynCorp rat lines. And it's not just, unfortunately, drugs and weapons, it's also the child trafficking. Unfortunately, which they say, well, we're in international waters. Here we are at ORIG, offshore rig. We're in international waters, so we're going to choose to have the laws of the country that's the most lenient. That's the story of the whole shipping business, right? And, we've got Saudi Arabia, and we've got 2 or 3 guys on the rig here that are Saudi Arabian, and we're going to say 9. 9 is the limit, or 8, or whatever. So that platform becomes not just a platform then at that point for oil or gas drilling, but it also maybe become a platform for international trade of all types. Currency, precious metals, and potentially children. Maybe being way stations. Now, international water line is 12 miles. So some of these rigs are way out to sea, like 20, 30, 40, some 75 miles, I think. So there's these boats that kind of, that Dave Matthews song, The Space Between, they run between 12 miles and out to the rigs, back and forth, kind of a jitney service. Now you might ask, why don't they go inside the 12-mile line? That means the Coast Guard can get you. As long as you stay outside the 12 miles, you're in international waters. Now, I don't know how much I should say, so I won't say. I'll just say this, that there is these, let's call them pirates for lack of a better word. Let's call them Pirates of the Caribbean so you can get a visual. Running back and forth. So when Paul Manafort brought all of his stuff back, almost all the companies, go look at the Manafort indictment, almost all of it was through the Cayman Islands. So if you're already running oil there, I'm already going there. So having a bunch of little kids around, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds to work in the kitchen, so I don't have to work in the kitchen, and then company at night, I'm just saying, everything I've ever seen in this series has followed the oil, either the oil pipelines or the oil shipping lines, or minerals as well. So, those are thoughts, but I think ORIG and investments in ORIG and LLCs in Miami, between that rig and kids coming into that school, that Parkland school, I think that'll be a fruitful area of investigation.